Let's get analysis on this now with Sonja Van Den Ende. She's a political analyst and joins us from Moscow. Sonja, welcome to this news hour. Thanks for joining us. So what do you make of these drones that were flying over the Kremlin on Tuesday night? Because it seems there could be many explanations here, from a false flag operation to an attempt on Putin's life. What are your thoughts?
Well, I for sure don't think it's a false flag attack. It surely was. It was drones, two drones actually. This is what it's known by now. And what I make of it is that it came from Ukraine, because we must not forget, here in Russia we had two murders already. That was on Daria Dugina and Vladan Tarstan, that was lately in St. Petersburg. And all the Western politicians, media are saying continuously that the best way to have somehow a peace agreement, or peace agreement is actually that they don't want it, but that they want to have the Putin regime, this is how they call it, being removed. So, and also, of course, now the 9th of May is approaching. That's the parade in Moscow, as we all know. And the 1st of May we had Labor Day, and the 2nd of May was very important as well, because that was the tragedy in Odessa, now Ukraine. So what I make of it is that it was surely an attack from Ukraine, but maybe I will go a little bit further, because Ukraine, as we know by now, is orchestrated by well, NATO countries or Western countries, let's put it this way. So because all the two murders, what happened here in Russia, was done with SBU, and the SBU, as we know, is connected to Western intelligence. So for sure, I can make up out of it that it's not a false flag, and I think that's what I guess. It's coming from Ukraine. That's
and
what
these
then,
yeah. I would think, Sonja, obviously, if that is correct, Ukrainian operatives working within Russia.
That is also a possibility, because, as I said before, these two murders, and it recently came out that with the last murder on Tatarsky, some SBU agent came in through the airports here in Russia. So it could be some SBU agents or other, you know, affiliated with them inside Russia, who are working together and did this drone attack. Of course, can be a possibility as well.
And Sonja, do you think that is the reason we've now seen this? It seems to be an intensification of airstrikes over various cities in Ukraine, including Zaporizhzhia, Odessa, Kyiv, as well as Kherson. Is this retaliation from Russia?
Most likely, yes, because that's what they said yesterday. The Kremlin said that they will be retaliating, and what we saw last night is, of course, Odessa, and of course the 2nd of May, what I mentioned already, was a big tragedy and had you know, in the Western world, nobody spoke about it or whatever. So I think it's retaliation, and maybe it's just the beginning. I don't know, I cannot say, but and also I would like to mention that the Western media or politicians always saying that, you know, Russia is hitting civilians in Ukraine. This is not the case. Before they were hitting really electricity, power plants, infrastructure, this kind of things, and of course all the NATO weapons which came by train through Ukraine to go to the front lines. So this is actually a big lie that they were hitting civilians. And
but Sonja, there are civilians that have been killed. There have been apartment buildings that have been hit by a Russian missile. So it's not a lie when you see people who have died in Ukraine because of Russian strikes. While Russia may have hit certain infrastructure because of the war, there are also hundreds of civilians in Ukraine who have died. That can't be denied at this point. We're more than a year into this war.
It can't be denied, but it can also not be proved that it were the Russians. Because I myself was a lot of time in Donetsk. I was in the Donbass, and a lot of Ukrainian missiles hit there and still hitting every day in Donetsk city, killing people. And it's done by HIMARS, it's done by Grad. So all parties, of course, say we didn't do it. But for myself, I saw the things in Donbass. So, and of course, they, according to Western media and Western politicians, are Ukrainian citizens, and according to Russia, they are Russian citizens now. So, I mean, yeah, this is a big dispute, and I think the proof is not there that the Russians did it. This is the whole thing.
The truth can be very fluid in times of war.
Yes,
Sonja Van
of
Den
course.
Ende, thank you very much for your analysis.